All right, Friday night again. Here we are in the movie theater parking lot. I just got out of Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues, and it was pretty funny. I liked the film. I didn't really know what to expect going in. I didn't have very high expectations, and I think that helped. A lot of times with these, sequels that are many decades later, especially comedy sequels, they aren't really great. You see that the humor kind of hasn't really aged with the time, but I think there's something about Spinal Tap when you watch it now, it's still very funny. And this film also is surprisingly funny. I was laughing throughout, occasionally just chuckling, had a couple of moments where I really was laughing. And for that, I will say this film is worth a watch. As long as you keep your expectations in the right place, I think you can have a really fun time with this film. Pretty much anyone they could get back, they do get back, even if it's for like the briefest of cameos. So all the appearances in the film are appreciated from me. It was cool to see all those people again, and there's also a slew of new cameos. I'm not super familiar with the trailer of this one. I know I saw it once or twice in the theater, but I can't remember how many of the cameos they spoil in the trailer. But they're very fun. They're very silly. Obviously, like, in terms of being critical about a film like this, it's kind of silly because the movie itself is very silly. Nothing about it takes itself too seriously or anything. So I will say the original Spinal Tap really nails the mockumentary or rockumentary angle much better. And what I mean by that is the first Spinal Tap film really feels like a music documentary. And that's kind of part of what makes it so funny, is the very earnest take at the music documentary genre while also just containing like joke after joke after joke. I think certain aspects of that are lost in this sequel, which is unfortunate, but also I don't watch too many modern documentaries, so I don't know, maybe this is what they look like and feel like now. There were certain aspects felt like kind of like a BBC documentary, so like it's not like those aspects are completely out the window, but it's just not as strong in this film. The film is also very, very short. I think it's like an hour 20. There's also kind of like a post-documentary interviews that happen through the credits, so obviously stick through the credits. The credits rolling on the film actually felt very abrupt. I'm curious how much they trimmed this film down in the edit. It feels like they intentionally trimmed it to be as tight as possible. For a comedy film, that's not necessarily a bad thing. So yeah, I'm not complaining about the runtime at all, especially because the first film is probably pretty close to the same in runtime. Going back to the humor though, not every single joke lands. There's some that are kind of just like, But for the most part, I was surprised though. I really didn't think there would be like another 80 minutes of humor that you could milk out of this concept, but somehow they do it. I would say though, a lot of the jokes aren't really like, oh, look how old these guys are. Times have changed with music and like people like different music now. Like there are a couple of those jokes, but like it's not the whole movie, which I very much appreciated. I was definitely expecting a lot of like the whole joke is that they're old and they're still doing this, but the film doesn't like lean on that too hard. Instead, there's just like some genuinely funny jokes, which is nice. I'm really happy to see this like rise in spoof comedy kind of coming back. Like we just had the new Naked Gun, which was a fun movie, and there's Scary Movie 6 coming with the Wayans brothers coming back. Also, I saw a trailer before this film for a Downton Abbey spoof called Fackham Hall. And like I've never watched Downton Abbey, but like that looks pretty funny. Like I might have to go check that out just as a lover of murder mysteries. Also off topic, but the movie theater parking lot is exceptionally busy tonight. I don't know if it's people finally getting around to seeing The Conjuring Last Rites or if it's the buzz behind The Long Walk. If I had to guess, I would say people are probably here for The Long Walk, which makes me very happy. It means that trailer did its job, and it means that whether you're a Stephen King fan, horror fan or not, that was just one of those movies when you see the commercial, you're like, I gotta see how this goes. So that's very cool to see. I'm a huge advocate for like the movie theater and getting people to come to the movie theater. So it makes my heart happy when the parking lot is packed like this. Yeah, that's about all I have to say. Not a long review for this one, but thanks for watching. Get out to the theater, check it out. And on the Letterboxd old 5-star review thing, I would give it 3.5 stars. 3.5 out of 5. That sounds fair.